Hello there, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Jack Edwards. How are ya? How's work? How are the kids? Hope you're all doing good. Today, I am coming to you with a big fat life update because things have changed a bit around here. And so I headed to my Instagram story and I asked you guys what you wanted to know. And based on the sheer number of responses, I feel like perhaps this is a tad overdue. So I'm gonna get through as many of these as I possibly can and let's get started. Oh, this is a nice one to start on. Someone said, what does the ring on your finger represent? This is actually quite sweet because I bought this ring when I hit 500,000 subscribers. I don't know how well you can see it, but it basically is covered in numbers, but the number 11 is in brackets because that's my lucky number. And I wanted something that would be visible in every piece of content that I make. Basically just to remind me and to remind you guys that none of this exists without your incredible support, and I appreciate it so, so much. And although on the surface it's just a bunch of numbers, you guys are very, very special to me. So yeah, that's the kind of reason behind that. And now onto the juicy stuff. Did you quit your job? No, actually. So I've been working as a research assistant in publishing for the last 8 months and I love it. It's such a great job, so interesting, it really keeps me on my toes. Like I'll spend a whole day just researching what the Korean Paralympic team's training regime was in London 2012 and it's so random but so fascinating at the same time. I work on non-fiction books, which is quite nice because my personal reading preference is fiction, and so having that separation between work and what I do for fun is nice. And on top of that, having a job means that I separate work and content, which is perfect because then I really look forward to making YouTube videos, and I've been so productive since starting a job. So definitely sticking with that, and I'm very fortunate that this job allows me to work anywhere because it's remote, and you'll see why that is useful in a minute. But I have no intention in quitting. I have been a little quiet on the job front recently because the book that I'm working on at the moment is with the editors, so I haven't had to do very much recently. Next question is, where have you moved to? And the answer is Paris. When I applied to university, most of the courses that I applied to were English with a year abroad, and I'd fully intended for one of my years at university to not be in the UK. However, once I got to Durham, I was so comfortable and happy, and I loved all the friends that I'd made, and I just wanted to stay in Durham. And so I promised myself that if I wasn't taking a year abroad at university, then the year after I graduated, I would travel. However, as you know, COVID then did the world tour that I wanted to be on. And so instead, I moved to London for 14 months. The middle chunk of that time, I found really, really tough. But by the end of my time in London, when everything started reopening, life was sweet. I was having the best time, and this summer will always be so, so special to me. However, I still feel like I owe it to myself to go and travel and enjoy the world that we're so lucky to live in. And so I decided to move to Paris and see what Paris has to offer. It's really perfect for me right now because the time difference is only 1 hour. If I do need to get back to London at any point for like YouTube conventions, like Social in the City, for example, I can. It's really easy. And it is such a privilege to get to come to France and see everything that Paris has to offer. And I feel so lucky every single day. I just feel grateful and count my lucky stars that this is my life. Yeah, I'm really, really happy here. So I've currently been here for 9 days and I really like it. I've got a lovely apartment. I am vlogging over on my second channel if you want to go check those out. But yeah, surprise, I live in Paris now. Okay, this question is, have you been watching anything good recently? And yes, before I left the UK, I was binge watching Pose on BBC iPlayer, who have very kindly sponsored today's video. Pose is this absolutely brilliant and groundbreaking series from across the pond over in the US. And it's all about the underground drag ball culture of the like 1980s to 1990s, right at the height of the AIDS epidemic. It's all about New York and the Black and Latino LGBTQ+ community and that subculture. It really puts a microscope on this really incredible and inspiring community of people. It is so vibrant. It's classic Ryan Murphy, high production values, all about glamour, but also shines a light on trans and black queer resistance, which is such a huge part of that movement. Also, fun fact, Pose has the largest trans cast in scripted television history. How cool is that? So yeah, I'd highly recommend Pose. All 3 seasons are available over on BBC iPlayer, alongside literally hundreds of other fantastic TV shows. So I'll leave a link down below to check out BBC iPlayer, and thank you so, so much to BBC iPlayer for working with me on this video. What an honor! Are you planning on writing another book? Now, this is a question I have answered before, and previously the answer has been no, not yet. The answer now has changed ever so slightly. In fact, it's changed quite significantly because the answer is actually yes. I've always dreamed of writing my own novel, writing fiction, but I didn't want to force it. I didn't want to put pressure on myself to create something and put it out into the world. I've obviously been writing creatively, but I was waiting until the perfect idea came to me to sort of begin to flesh out and explore. And I think that I have it. I had this light bulb moment where I was like, this is one thing I've been obsessed with for years, and I just think it would make a cracking book. And it's something that I would love to read. And so instead, I'm gonna write it. And that's part of the reason as well for wanting to move away and put myself out of my comfort zone, because I was so comfortable and acclimatized to London and the lifestyle and the routine, and I felt like, you know, even getting on the tube was just second nature to me. And so I wanted to basically airlift myself out of that situation and throw myself in at the deep end in somewhere where I'm not used to the culture and the city and the lifestyle, because I think that's the perfect thing to stimulate creativity. So yeah, that's a very arty-farty, pretentious way of saying yes. Yes, I am. But I'm in absolutely no rush, and I want it to be something that I'm really proud of at the end, so I'm sure it will be a labour of love, but don't expect it anytime soon. It's just something I'm sort of, there's brewing away up in here right now. Who is your fave band? Ooh, probably the Cheetah Girls. Super important question. Do you cut your sandwiches in triangles or rectangles? I actually like to make mine in a sphere, occasionally in like a pyramid sort of shape. Yeah, sandwich art is actually my speciality. Oh, this one says, hi Alex, have you moved to Paris? I don't know who Alex is, but yeah, I have. How long are you living there for? Okay, so I've spoken about this a bit in the past, but I'm really fascinated by the concept of slow travel, where you move around to a different place every few months. And so originally I booked to be here for 2 months, but I already love it, and so I have extended the trip. Obviously, nothing is as straightforward since the pandemic Lovato, but we'll see. I'm double jabbed, I'm a member of the Pfizer Chiefs, which obviously does make things a lot easier and the world is a bit more accessible again, but yeah, just taking it as it comes, pretty much. What song is the theme tune of your life right now? Ooh, probably Can't Speak French by Girls Aloud. That has a surprising amount of relevance to my life right now. Are you worried you might get lonely? This is a good question. I think that I'm very comfortable in my own company. Having said that, the last year has definitely proved to me that I am a massive extrovert and I do really thrive in the company of other people. And I do sort of need that to stay sane. So it's a balancing act, not gonna lie. A lot of my hobbies are things that I do alone, for example, like creating content, reading, but I also do really like the social side. So I've got a lot of friends coming to visit, and I've met a few people here in Paris. I would say though, that speaking to the camera is basically what's preventing me feeling loneliness, because I feel like I am speaking to someone, and one of the biggest perks is that I'm never really truly alone, because I always have you guys. So yeah, I feel very lucky about that. Are you going to do your masters? The evergreen question. Am I gonna do my masters? Am I ever gonna get in to a master's program? Who knows? It's a big goal of mine in my life to get a master's degree and get a PhD in English literature. But again, I'm just in no rush. It'll happen when it happens. I always plan to do the PhD as like a part-time thing, which I think means that instead of taking 4 years, it will take 8. But I like that that's kind of a long-term goal, and it will mean that I'm constantly learning and constantly sort of challenging myself and researching things. But the master's is something that I would love to do next year. I mean, touch wood, thankfully I've got this massive beam next to me. Thank you, my glamorous assistant. Genuinely, I am just really passionate about the subject, and I would love to study it further and have that opportunity. So it's something that is a big bucket list life goal for me. So I've got a list of places that I'd love to apply to. I kind of see myself doing my masters in Scotland, but we'll see, who knows. Hopefully this time next year we'll have an answer to that question. When are we getting not safe for work stuff from you? That is a cracking question, and the answer is never. I think the closest you'll ever get to not safe for work from me is me reading Hillary Clinton fan fiction, because that was scarring. I'm actually still recovering from that. Since you've moved to France, what is your favorite piece of French literature? Ooh, I really love The Stranger by Albert Camus. Do you always want your career to involve books, or could you see yourself doing something else? Now, the reason I love books so much is that it's like this goal that you can never conquer. It's just completely insurmountable. You will never be able to read every book, even written in 1 year. To put this into context, every year about 300 films are released. And it would be impressive if one person watched every single one. Now take into consideration the fact that 188,000 books on average are published every year in the UK alone. You could never even dream about reading them all, and I think that's what's so appealing about it, that there's always something more to unlock and discover. And so I love the publishing industry. There are so many fascinating jobs that you don't even realize exist. So many amazing creative people, so many brilliant books that are being written right now, not including my own because I have an idea and I haven't started writing it yet. So I think that whatever I do in my life, it will involve books in some way. I think it's just woven into my internal tapestry. I think it's a big part of my life and something that I have a massive passion for. So if you can find something where you can find a career in your passion, then That's the best case scenario, right? Someone just said, what's with the mustache? To be totally honest with you, I just needed to make sure I looked slightly different to when I was 14 years old. And I think that it was part of my like post-university identity crisis where growing a beard and mustache just made me look slightly different to my fresher self. So yeah, this person really said, I mustache you a question. What happened to the mouse in your apartment? Well, I moved to France. It's the mouse's apartment now. It's the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. In all seriousness, if you didn't know, I had a mouse infestation in my flat because I lived above a pizza shop and they got in through the pizza shop, which is so gross. We were trying to deal with the situation as calmly and as peacefully as possible, but these mice were terrorizing us. And so unfortunately we did have to get pest control in. Do you know what broke the camel's back? Do you know what the final straw was? I'm sure he won't mind me telling you this, but this is horrendous, by the way. So basically, my housemate came downstairs and I feel like everyone in their house has their bag pile. You know, your bag of bags. So we had our bag full of reusable carrier bags and he was going off to do his weekly shop. So he grabs a bag, chucks it in his pocket, he goes out for like an hour and a half. And when he pulls the bag out of his pocket, a mouse comes with it. This mouse had been in his pocket for like an hour and a half. This mouse had a tour of Camden and I'll never recover from that. It didn't even happen to me, and I'm scarred. But that is one of my favorite stories of housemate Adam. We love him. Who's the most famous person you've met? Probably Julie Walters? Are French people really mean IRL? No, everyone's been really lovely to me so far, and very patient with my broken French. So no, is the answer to your question. Someone said, what book are you reading currently? I am reading Self-Help by Laurie Moore. That's the main book I'm focusing on today. It's a short story collection, all about modern womanhood, and it's really experimental, and I'm enjoying it. But I always have a few books on the go, so I'm also working my way through The Outsider by Stephen King. Have you been recognized in Paris by subscribers? Do you know what? I hadn't been until I went to a bookshop, and then I found my people, and it was like a meet and greet. It was so much fun, and I spoke to loads of you guys about books, and it's just the best. Whenever I meet you in public, it's a wonderful experience. So please always say hi, even if I'm looking lost or dazed or confused or hungover. I'm always keen for a chat. What is the one thing you're gonna miss about living in Camden? I'm gonna miss all my friends in London, being able to go and sit by the canal and read my book, living so close to Primrose Hill and Regent's Park. It's a really lovely part of London. I love North London. Camden itself is so vibrant. There's always so much going on. Everyone is so nice there. I used to go jogging a lot, and on my running route was London Zoo. And so just on a casual Wednesday in London, I would run past giraffes and camels and zebras, and that's something I don't think everyone could say, and the vibes were immaculate, so I will miss it. Okay, here it is, the big one. I've had this asked a lot. How is your girlfriend? Are you doing long distance? How is your relationship? And the answer is that we actually broke up in June. So that's obviously been difficult. I feel like we're both healing and navigating being apart. We definitely have remained friends. That was really important to both of us to salvage a friendship. Regardless, that was always our priority. We speak all the time, we've met up since. There's absolutely no hard feelings at all. The truth of the matter, I think, is just that we met at university and situations change, people grow, and we were trying to fit a square into a triangle-shaped hole. Obviously, the circumstances have been so bizarre because it's been a pandemic, and that puts strain and pressure on any long-term or long-distance relationship. I suppose it's just a fact of life that people's priorities and plans change, and sometimes they are no longer compatible. And that doesn't make either party a bad person, and I think the whole point is to make each other happy, and sometimes the way to achieve that is actually to be apart. She is a phenomenal, compassionate, kind person whose heart is just bursting with care and consideration and love for other people. She's brilliant with everyone she meets, and I will always look back on that relationship as a really happy, special thing. It's obviously something that's really tough and difficult to share and talk about, but all I ask is that you please respect our privacy at this time, especially her, because she isn't a content creator, she's not an influencer, her life isn't public property like mine is. And honestly, there's no time to speculate because you would just be wasting your time. It was a very amicable split, but that relationship is something that I always kept offline, and so I would really appreciate it if we could just keep it that way, but I appreciate that it's important to share. So there we go. Moving on. What is your favorite YouTube channel? Probably One Direction Vivo. I love my booktube gang, Uncali, Fictional Fates, Noel Gallagher, Ariel Bissett. Oh, you know who I have been loving recently, who's also got into books? Emma Chamberlain. I will always be such a fan of her. I love the way that she sort of reinvented her content. She kind of edits like she's the sole survivor of the apocalypse, and I'm here for it. I have noticed a definite trend in the type of content and the type of fiction that I'm really enjoying, and it's stuff that really focuses on ordinary life and the small pleasures of our existences and how you can find beauty in ordinary things. And even when you can't find beauty, that's fine too. Someone says, how are you really doing? I'm really good. I'm really happy. I'm in a really positive place, both like physically and mentally. I think I've really spent the last year, and especially the last 6 months, cultivating a healthy relationship with social media and my online presence to a point where I feel, yeah, really positive about it. So life is sweet. Thank you for asking. And on that note, I think that's a very nice point to end the video. So thank you so much for watching. You can subscribe for more from me if you want. I'm also vlogging over on my second channel, so if you want more of an insight into my Parisian life, that's where you'll find it. All the best, stay in touch, have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye!